Hi, everybody. I am Greg.
I'm Jess.
We're Just a Journey. We are going to talk about something that you guys requested. I actually looked for the comment today and I couldn't find it, so I can't give you a call out directly. But one of our subscribers asked about health insurance, so we are going to talk about that today. So, with that said, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to let us know what else you want to see and get the latest information and see what we're out and about doing. Because we love to hear from you and we do want to provide content that you're interested in. Also, a slide little disclaimer here is we are not professional healthcare experts, nor is this meant to be any sound advice. This is just us telling you what works for us and what may work for you, but obviously do your own research so that you get the healthcare you need.
Right.
One last little tidbit. If you ever buy anything on Amazon, click on our little link in the description. It'll just say Amazon link or something like that. Anything you buy on there gives us a couple pennies usually. Lots of couple pennies equals some gas for the van. So we appreciate that. Let's get into this, and we are going to do our best to one-take this because these are the ones that we don't want to edit. And it works well to just spit it out at you.
Yeah.
I did write a little list, though, because I already recorded it once and we screwed it up. So, there goes the intro and disclaimer. What we're going to cover for you today.
Oh, this is my cue. So we're going to talk to you guys about how to shop for health insurance, because we know that that's a scary thing when you're looking to quit your job. We're going to talk about how to get prescriptions. And then we're also going to cover our dental coverage.
Yes. So stay on the edge of your seats because you need to hear about all this. So yeah, the first thing she actually added that I forgot to write down was being scared to quit your jobs because of health insurance. I think that's probably one of the biggest fears for most people, and it was for us 3 years ago when we quit our jobs, because we had great jobs with great health insurance, and you know, you don't even think that you're paying for it, but we were.
Mm-hmm.
We paid for it at work, a couple $100 a month, and they subsidized the rest through work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, if you needed anything, you paid your deductibles, and then you paid your max out of pocket for the year. But it just comes out of your check, so you don't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
But you are paying for it. But the scary thing is, if you're going to quit that job, you're going to lose that insurance, and now you're not going to have insurance, and you got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have money, income,
Yeah.
then you don't have insurance. Now you're scared. But luckily, she's going to tell you how it works out.
Yeah. So most nomads have 3 options when they quit their jobs. 1 is no insurance. 2 is a heavily subsidized plan from your state of residency. And then 3 is going to be shopping for a private health insurance plan on the marketplace. So for us, not having insurance is not really an option. Even though we're really healthy people, we don't have any health concerns really. We do a lot of crazy things. We drive a lot. We hike, we backpack, we kayak, mountain bike. Any one of those activities could result in
a crash,
some kind of injury that we want to make sure doesn't drain all of the money that we saved.
Yeah, you don't want to go bankrupt. So
Yeah.
even if, for us personally, a super high out-of-pocket, maximum whatever annual out-of-pocket is way better than getting hit with like $100,000 hospital bill and then being broke.
Yeah.
So we are all about making sure you have some sort of health insurance, personally. Second one.
So the second one is going to be a subsidized plan by the state that you reside in, because we're in Colorado. We're on a Colorado provided healthcare plan, and that's all based on your income. So when I say it's subsidized, what that means is that your health policy, your health insurance policy costs a certain amount of money, but they will take into account the amount of income that you have, and there's certain thresholds in that income, and at those thresholds you pay a certain amount. So if you're, I don't know what the exact figure is for Colorado, it doesn't really matter because it varies all across the country, but let's just say that you make under $30,000 a year. That plan may be 100% subsidized by the state. And then as you make more money, let's say that you quit your job and you have no income for like the first year.
And then YouTube starts blowing up and we're getting rich like we aren't, but
yeah,
maybe we will someday.
So then maybe you start earning more income, and then you report that income to the state, and then they kind of reconfigure how much your policy costs you. So that's our option, because we don't really have a regular income and we're never really sure how much we're going to make, which makes purchasing a private policy a bit more stressful and difficult.
Yeah.
If you go search for the private policies on the marketplace in your state, they can vary anywhere from like $300 a month for an individual to $700 to $1,000. So,
but with that, quick side note, we just called South Dakota because we were talking about switching to South Dakota residency, and the lady that we talked to there said give the low number of what we know we're going to make, even though we're hoping for growth, because based off that low number, your deductible stayed lower in South Dakota, and based off the high number, it got more expensive. So she said, well, if we end up hitting the high number, you just end up back paying the amount you skipped out on basically at the end of the year, but your deductible didn't go up during that year.
Mm-hmm.
So always just aim for your most accurate number. But if it's very volatile, pick the lower number, and as it goes up, just be prepared to have some money in savings to pay the difference if you missed it. We're going to do another video telling you about why we didn't switch to South Dakota residency here in the near future, but we did a lot of research on it in the last few days and actually found that it probably wasn't going to be the best solution for us, but it may be for a lot of you, because there is no state income tax and some other good things, but we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah. But one thing we learned by shopping through South Dakota is it is really easy to call up the state office that helps with signing people up for these subsidized policies and just talk through your specific scenario with them. You can enter your information on the eligibility forms online, but that doesn't necessarily give you all the answers. So I would recommend that, both from our first experience signing up in Colorado and then again just recently looking into South Dakota. They were both really helpful people, and they were able to answer all of our questions.
Did you talk about having to be in the state you're in?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So next up is prescriptions and how we go about that. So being that healthcare in the United States is state by state, keep that in mind when you sign up for your healthcare. For us, Colorado is kind of, we call it centrally located to where we're at usually, which, it's usually within 15 to 20 hours of drive wherever we are.
Yeah.
But being that it's state run, you're only covered in the state that you have. So if we are in Idaho and I break my wrist mountain biking, or if we are in Florida and I hurt myself surfing, we got to come back to Colorado to get care. Unless it's an emergency, you can go to the emergency room. That will be covered under our health insurance. Double check yours just to be sure.
Yeah.
So you don't get hit with some crazy bills. But generally, if it's life-threatening, they're not going to just let you fend for yourself.
Right.
But just know you are going to need to get back to your state for your care, which, frankly, I think is a bunch of BS. But we can't control that right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, prescriptions are another big thing. So if you need, regular care or prescriptions, you may want to pick a state or an area that you are mostly in to be able to get your care. So she's going to talk about the one prescription that we have and how we deal with that situation, being that we're barely ever in Colorado.
Right. So I just have a birth control prescription, and it has to be filled or it has to be written by a doctor. So if I'm not in Colorado to see that doctor in order to get that prescription renewed, then that makes it difficult for us. So I actually discovered within the last year that there's some online services that do help with routine prescriptions like that. One of them is GoodRx. Another one is NuRx. You may have to pay a small membership fee or a consultation fee, but usually if it's a very routine prescription, you've had a history with it in the past, etc., I didn't have any problems getting my birth control prescription renewed. Now, getting it filled is another thing. So again, in Colorado, that prescription would probably be covered underneath my health insurance policy, but a lot of times we're not here when I need to pick up the refill.
And the first year, we were able to get them to give us a year's worth at once, I think.
Yeah, so that was when I was actually working with like my primary OBGYN, and she told me, I said, I'm going to travel for a year. Can you just fill a year? And she did.
So we got the hookup.
Yeah, so that was easy, and it's always worth asking. If you have a good relationship with your doctor, and you have like, 6 months or something where you think you're not going to be in your state, you can ask for, them to call the pharmacy and vouch for you and say that they can fill, 1 or 2 or 3 refills at a time. That is possible.
But now that that's run out.
Yeah, so I have gotten my prescription renewed through the GoodRx service, and then a lot of times I'll get it refilled in California. So unfortunately, it's not 100% covered in California, but they do have really good coupons at certain pharmacies for certain medications. So I found a pharmacy that gives me $100 off this prescription, and I only pay $22 for each refill, which personally, I think all birth control should be free no matter where you are, but
that's a different opinion for different people, and
yeah, it's fine.
This is not how it works.
So yeah, $20 isn't bad, and I've been able to figure out how to navigate that process.
Yeah. So luckily, it hasn't been detrimental to our pocketbooks.
Yeah.
But if I think if it were $100 plus, we would be working closer with the primary care person, trying to get 6 months at a time to lessen the amounts that we have to keep spending way crazy out of pocket. The last thing, dental coverage, because health and dental are always separate for some reason. I guess your teeth don't count as your health, maybe?
Yeah, so a lot of people who have like health insurance through work don't realize that they're actually signing up for different policies. So vision, dental, and health insurance are all separate. And not all policies when you go shopping through the state service include all 3.
Yeah.
I actually think most of them don't.
So for Colorado, we qualify for, we'll call it the free one. And what that does is gives us our cleanings and cavity fills if we need them. So we do our best to set up our cleanings when we're going to be coming through. Generally, we come through Colorado once a year for sure, usually twice a year, and it happens to be about every 6 months. So we do set up our cleanings when we come through. Just plan ahead, because sometimes they're booked out and it becomes a pain in the butt. So do that. If you know you're going through, call a week or 2 ahead, get on the books so you can get that done. But if you don't get it through your state, when we were looking at South Dakota, they have one called Delta Dental. Sounds like they are all over the country, so you can go in different states. It was $51 a month per person, and we didn't actually think it was worth it because it does a $50 one-time deductible annually, and you pay half of any work that you get done. So once I did the math, it didn't really add up for us, so we weren't going to get it. But if you needed routine dental work pretty often, it may work for you. So do the math, figure out if it's going to save you money or cost you more to do it, and then do what's best for you. Last thing, for dental, there's always Mexico. It's way cheaper down there. So find a good dentist. I'm sure they're all over the RV blogs, and you can pop on down to Tijuana and get your root canal for about a third to half the price. So if we don't have dental insurance, that's where we're going to be going.
Yeah.
That pretty much covers the 3 bullet points that we were going to talk about for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, definitely leave them below. We will do our best to answer them for you. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we do want to provide things that you are interested in. So we will keep adding in the weekly what we're doing, and try to come out with a video about this lifestyle for you.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.